Hey guys, this is Lil with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today, you guys asked for it, so I'm doing it. It's a full HYDRA run. It's my nightmare run from this weekend. Full transparency, I'm manual. I always manual nightmare. I should say, I always manual the end of HYDRA. What I would usually do is I usually run HYDRA on my phone at the weekend in my pocket, and I'll set a run going and I'll check on how it's doing after 10 minutes. If it's looking good, then I'll usually take over manual. If it's not looking good, I usually start it again, and then I'll play it out. Usually, sometimes I do it on the PC. It just depends how my sort of weekend's going, but HYDRA tends to be at the weekend for me. So I'm going to cut over it's quite a long run because it's manual. I'm going to try and talk through a tiny bit of it and then play it quickly and then sort of stop it as we go. So hopefully that works out. Anyway guys, let's get into a run. I guess I should go over my team first. Okay, so this is my team. I've already used all my keys this week, so just to give you an overview of my nightmare team, I've got Duchess as my reviver and that perfect veil and her passive just to mitigate damage. I've got Ugo because she's Ugo and she's brilliant. Put my Ugo in a taunting set, fast and in a taunting set. Bivald is my provoker for the head of mischief, and my mischief tank. But he only has one provoke and a provoke on his A1, not guaranteed. So I found just running Ugo in a taunting set helped offset Bivald. Geo, relentless, fast. Shamrock is in Guardian set, also fast, and Husk is fast. And I think this Husk is just in mixed sets, because I wanted him much faster. Let's just double check. Yeah, so Geo number 1 in Relentless, going quite fast, and Husk 1 in, still going decent speed, missing 1% crit rate in mixed sets, and with an Immortal just to help survivability. Okay, so let's just hop over and get into the run. Okay, so I've left the start of this in on purpose, and this is what I do generally. Okay, this rotation, if we just pause for a second, this rotation is, I think it's rotation 5, I'll double check. Hold on, yes, rotation 5. This rotation is head of Torment, no. Head of Decay, the Cleanser, and Head of Blight, the Poison Cloud dude. You've got a couple of ways that you can deal with the start of this fight. You need to stop the Head of Blight cleansing before the Poison Cloud goes out, or you're going to lose a load of turns where everyone has a Poison Cloud. You can get decreased speed onto the Head of Decay and not on Head of Blight. That will swap their speeds. So then it won't be Cleanse Poison Cloud, it will be Poison Cloud, which you've got your block buffs for, then the Cleanse, but it doesn't matter because your block buffs has already done its job of preventing the Poison Cloud. What I like to do, I like to get Husk to get an A1 provoke on the head of Decay, and then I'm happy with that run. Now this run I restart because I missed just weak hits, missed 2 block buffs, not happy with that as a start. I really like my starts to be nice and clean. I feel like once you get further into the fight, you've got more leeway. Everyone's got their buffs, you've got all your debuffs out, you're in way more control. I feel like the start of the fight is more difficult. Here again, Husk didn't get his A1 provoke out, so I'm going to restart this fight. Yeah, you can see Poison Cloud. I don't want to deal with that, so I'm going to restart this one. This is what I do, and I'll do this. It takes 10 seconds for the start of the fight to get going. and I just like it to be nice and clean. I feel like when you, again, when you're more in control and you've got all your increased speed, decreased speed out there, then it also just means you've got some of your cooldowns a bit more available. So this one, that's fine. I missed one poison cloud, blocking one poison cloud, but that's not the end of the world. So this is it. Yeah, we're cycling our abilities. Geomancer getting his extra turns from his Relentless. I don't need to save anything. I haven't got anyone poisoned. I always find who to focus on this fight. I never really know who to focus. I find Mischief goes down quite quickly. Here I'm thinking, do I need a provoke on the Head of Decay? Because Ugo's used all of her abilities. I'm focusing down the Head of Blight because it's quite squishy. Do I need a taunt is what I'm looking at here. Yeah, I've got Husk, Ugo, and Bivald who can all taunt. Again, Geoman's getting his extra turns. I'm going to take that reflect damage off because it'll kill my team. I should probably point out that I run my teams with a lot of support. Yeah, I want all the elements. I want a provoke. I want increased defense. I want a way to deal with the Head of Torment. I tend to bring everything in my teams. So here, if I just pause for a second. So again, we got a lucky provoke there, but you could see the turn meter was full. I didn't know if my Bivald was going to go, so I went in with the Husk on the Head of Decay to try and get that provoke off. If I hadn't got that off, I would start holding abilities just in case. Like I wouldn't have used Geomancer's Burn there. You can see he's just got a proc from his refresh accessory. I wouldn't have used his Geomancer's Burn if I hadn't got the provoke off, because Head of Decay would have cleansed my whole team. I don't know if my Bivald is going to come around to his turn before Decay does, so I would have held that burn for a turn. It didn't, we got the provoke, so that's great. Bivald did come around before it was Head of Decay's turn. He just wasted his provoke there, so yeah, I should have been paying more attention, because it was already had that Husk provoke out, and then Bivald used his provoke as well. So now I've got no provoke when on the next turn. I'm pointing out the decreased speed because I like them going slower. It just means my team can go faster. Nubs did a really good video on just going over the, it was, I can't remember what it was, but it was like the combination of increased speed on your team. And again, here I'm holding, yeah, I know that Bivald burnt his provoke when there was a provoke already out, so I know that I haven't got a provoke. So I'm holding Husk's A2, his nuke, to try and get a provoke out. When this Head of Decay is under control, I can do my damage. If he cleanses everything, I'm in trouble. Yeah, so I'm just getting those, it's really nice to get that refresh on the burn. So I can see Geomancer here. He's got burns on every single head right now. I mean, not for long because this one's going to fall off any second. But, the last thing I want is to have 4 Geomancer burns out and then get them cleansed. Which is why just keeping that Head of Decay under control for me, because I've got a consistent Mischief tank, Bivald. He's got the lightning cage, and he's got the shield, and he's got the self buff. On strengthen. There we go, great, so that came back out again. If you are using Bivald, remember to always use his A2, even if you don't need the provoke, because that's his self buff. So here I can see, so example here, Husk is going to get eaten any minute. So what I should have done there, instead of running it on auto, it's not too bad because I've got burns all over the place at the moment. But when Husk gets eaten, because I only run 2 DPS champs and I pack a lot of support, I know that I need Geomancer to break him out. So I need to rely on the reflect damage from the HP burn to break him out. Ideally, you want 3 damage dealers. Unfortunately, just with my roster, I don't have that option. So and I'll be honest, yeah, like, you can totally do that. You could totally run this team without a Mischief tank, for example. And that I get that recommended all the time on Hell Hades Optimizer. I'm double packing here for the Head of Mischief, because I've got block buffs from Ugo, from Ugo. One day I'm going to get those two names the right way around. I've got block buffs from Ugo and I've got a Mischief tank. I like having both. My Mischief tank is also my Provoker for decay, so that's a relatively easy choice for me to make. But I'm doubling up there really, just with my roster. Yeah, and I get recommended, no, bring a 3 DPS team and drop Bivald from this team all the time on the optimizer. But okay, we've got, right, so are we looking precarious right now? Well, we've got Head of Blight, sorry, Head of Decay is not provoked. We've got Head of Blight is about to do his Poison Cloud, and he's just eaten my dude. So I really need Bivald to come out with a provoke here, or Ugo from her Taunting set to come out with a provoke. I've already got Burn on here, so I'm not worried about that. I don't know if I have a provoke free. I can't remember where we're up to. No provoke. So I'm hoping for an A1. We get lucky with the A1. If not, I would have been going in with Uko and hoping for a provoke from her. Unfortunately, we got the Ally Protect up. Now, Shamrock here is good because his A1 also removes buffs, so I'm going to take off... Well, I probably would have gone with the Reflect damage there, but... yeah, just making sure that we get our champ out, because that's the end of your run, yeah. Like, once champs start getting eaten, you can carry on for a bit, but if one of my 2 DPS champs gets eaten, then, nothing's happening. Only reason I healed there was just to get the Miracle Heal proc, restore a little bit of HP. It's not really worth it. I could have just gone in with an A1. But again, everything's under control here. We're getting heads down. We're about to get the Poison Cloud. It's blocked. Yeah, some healing from Bivald. We've got the Taunt out. The Head of Mischief is being controlled by our Bivald. It is worth, if anyone doesn't know, the head of... the Devour will first go to whoever has the most crit damage on your team. That's how the Devour works the first time, and from what I can tell then it just seems totally random. I've no idea how it bases it off then, but it always seems to go to your highest damage nuker, your highest crit damage nuker. So we're coming in here, anything to worry about? Not really. We've got that pain link on the husk, so a cleanse there would have been ideal. Now we're just focusing this head, going to bring it down. I think I'll speed this one up. Have we got any... So what I'm looking at now is who do I want next? Yeah, like this Head of Blight is going down no matter what. It's already really low. We just need to control the Head of Decay to make sure it doesn't get a poison off. It doesn't get a cleanse off. And we accidentally nuked the Head of Mischief. I did not intend that. Didn't realise it was as low as it was. So what is going to happen now is I'm accidentally going to also kill the other head. So you can see me using single target abilities where I can now to try to not kill Blight too soon. Because what I don't want is... like 2 heads dead at the same time is fine, but realistically Husk is my only AoE nuker, so I'm better off having different heads dead at different times, because then I can just get more damage in. So I'm holding some of my abilities to focus this one. I think we end up with both dead at the same time. Let's just speed this one up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So we ended up with both dead at the same time. It's not the end of the world. It's not ideal, but so again, I'm just trying to keep decay under control all the time. And then I'm looking, where do I want to go? I have a Duchess, so we can deal with Torment coming out, but it's still not ideal. What I'm trying to do now is I can see I haven't got a Taunt up. I haven't got a Provoke up, so I'm trying to get a Provoke on this Decay, because I haven't got a lot of debuffs out, but I still don't want to lose them. I certainly don't want it to put that shield on anyone. So I'm just trying to come around and get a Provoke on it. And that's why you can see I'm going in with the Uko on the A1. The Ugo on the A1 to try and get the Provoke. I got the Provoke. Yeah, I want to take down Torment quite quickly, because it's just quite annoying. I've got a Geomancer who is an AoE on his A1. He's going to get feared sometimes. yeah, so I've got I can see that my Shamrock is going to be getting devoured quite soon, 3 turns time. So yeah, you can see who's likely to devour him. It's likely to be Head of Decay here, but we wait and see because the extra turn here might mess that up. Yeah, there we go. So the extra turn on the Head of Suffering came in and got the Devour, and we missed our provokes. So yeah, that's always slightly annoying. It's going to happen, you know, the odd time in your runs. I would have provoked there personally. It's like watching your own run back and you just see all of your mistakes. So now we're going to want to focus getting our champ out. Who was it? Shamrock. So again, put the HP burn out. He gets the shield off, which again is annoying. Now we've got more of that to get through. Let's speed this back up. Again, just pulling that block damage off. Now, Head of Wrath is my main weakness in this team. I have no decrease attack in this team. Yeah, so it's kind of a low damage dealer team, and it doesn't have any way to deal with that. So we just break Shamrock out. So what I want to do is try and rip off this this increase attack, because I do not want to get hit by that. Yeah, we've got a nice we had a nice sort of cooling off period there, because, you know, we're waiting for him to come back around where we don't need those provokes, so that's fine. Get some healing out. Just trying to get through this shield now. Again, removing that debuff, removing that buff of the increased attack. I don't have decrease attack, but, you know, the least I can do is pull off his increased attack. Again, you see those fears just stopping us healing. Husk's getting a bit low. You know, that once you get those heads down, like, and I'll often hold the Shamrock A3, the decreased speed, because if you get decreased speed on a decapitated head, that's brilliant. Like, you know, it just gives you so much longer dealing damage on that head. So, you know, what I'm looking at here is, okay, do people have, you know, that's another one with Geomancer, because he's got the AoE A1, does he have his Perfect Veil? How many turns of Perfect Veil does he have? Because if he's got 1 turn of Perfect Veil left, and he's got his A1 and his A2, you're better off using the A1 while he's got Perfect Veil, so he doesn't take the fear, and then if he gets, you know, if he's got 2 turns left before his burn, so that the next turn you can use your single target A1, not get feared, and then get your burn out. So this is actually, like, from my perspective, this is a really nice lineup to have. We didn't get one of our block buffs out. It's not the end of the world. You know, you've always got someone you can be targeting. It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, take the reflect damage off there. So yeah, for me, like, this set of heads is great. I mean, Wrath is probably my main threat right now, because, again, if he gets those sort of double turns where you trigger his passive, you know, his reflect hits, and then it's his turn, you can take a lot of damage in a very short space of time. What I'm looking at now is, yeah, who's low? I've got burns on the 2 heads that I care about taking down right now, which is Wrath and Torment. So okay, who's lowest? Who's the next lowest? So again, we're just going through our stuff here. Nothing exciting. Always checking on the debuff timer, the devour timer, of do I need to be holding any abilities here. The last thing that you want, again, in a team here where I've only got 2 damage dealers, is for your damage dealers' skills to be on cooldown, or Head of Mischief gets the devour, and your Geomancer burn, which is your main way of getting out. Okay, so here, sorry, the Geo burn is my main way of getting out people out of Mischief heads. So the last thing you need is for that to be on cooldown if he's likely to get that Devour off. So there, again, I I could see that my whole team was low, so I just used the Shamrock A2 to make sure I got those Revive on Deaths out, because it's conditional depending on the person's health, which buffs he gives them. Yeah, I can see my Husk was really low, so what I'd really like is if he goes down, him to Revive on Death. It's a really good skill. I really like Shamrock. I was like, before Hydra, I pulled him and was gutted because he's a rubbish champ, and suddenly Hydra came out and he suddenly became just really good, I would say. And again, here you can see Shamrock, I'm holding his A3. I can see this head's about to go down. I really want to get, so I should also talk about that briefly. So what you want to do is try and time when the head dies. It keeps its turn meter bar where it is. So if it dies right after its turn, let's say from a HP burn, or you start hitting it as soon as it's taken its turn, if you get it down then, you get 2 whole rounds of its turn meter to hit it while it's decapitated. I killed it right at the end of its turn meter before its turn, so I only get 1 round. But I saved Shamrock's A3, the decreased speed, so I can put that on the head. And again, we're getting drop defense on it. We don't need the provoke, but the leeches are always nice. We've got a burn on that head, so that's fine. And there we go. So we've now got the decreased speed out there. And that just gives us a bit longer to whack some damage into that decapitated head, really. So this run ends a little bit early. We get a bad devour somewhere, I can't remember where. But yeah, I mean, we're at turn 84. My team tends to go about 150 turns. I find then it just all gets very quick. Like, there are bad combinations of heads. Like this right here is pretty good from my perspective. The only thing to worry about is the extra turn here. Yeah, getting slammed too hard from Wrath over here, and just keep tracking the Poison Cloud. Mischief comes out, which, you know, depends how you're dealing with that. I've got a very consistent Mischief tank, so I'm just not worried about that head at all. Sometimes I target, you know, if you've got, there we go, we did get a buff steal there. I didn't see who he went for. He must have gone for Geomancer because Geo's got no buffs. So just unlucky. Don't know why he went for Geomancer, because it looks like he only had 2 buffs and Bivald had more. Anyway, he got him, so that's annoying. He's got his spread, but we've got block buffs out everywhere, so it's not too much, not everywhere. So here we haven't got block buffs, so he might get a spread over there. Again, we're focusing this head right now, so it's not a huge deal. I mean, you know, ideally we go in for the steal on Geomancer. We don't get it because we get redirected, so we now got block buffs on 2 heads. Not ideal, but we'll deal with it. It's fine. We've still got 2 heads who are low health that we can be hitting. There's nothing that we're worrying about. Poison Cloud would be the only real reason. Yeah, we might get some ally protects out on 2 of them here as well, but that head will probably be dead before he gets his turn. What I'm doing now, you can see I'm not hitting the head that's super low health. I want it to die, but it's got HP burn on it. Other people have got... Oh no, he's the only one with HP burn. He will go down. I don't want him to go down with a full turn meter bar, because otherwise I'm missing out on a whole turn of hitting that decapitated head. There we go. He died from... So you can see here, he died from his own HP burn. Oh no, he must have died from something else. He must have died from an AoE hit or something, because we only get in 1 turn here. Yeah, what you want is 2 turns and an empty turn meter bar. I didn't see if Geomancer did an AoE or something. Anyway, you know, it's just the ideal. It doesn't always go that way. Again, there's no reason to put block buffs out. 2 of them have got block debuffs, so just try and plow as much damage as we can into that head. The other thing to sort of be aware of is, you know, if you want to be watching your devour timer, because if you've got decay out and your provoker gets devoured, that provoke falls off. Yeah, so if you go in, if Husk is going to be devoured in 2 turns and you're relying on Husk's A1 to get the provoke out on decay, Well, guess what? If Husk gets devoured before Decay's turn, Decay's provoke debuff just falls right off. Again, we've ended up with two heads dead here, but you can see we decapitated the head right after its turn, so it's 2 turns of decapitation with it was very low turn meter bar, so we're going to get a lot of time hitting that head again. I do like to... God, who did you steal? Did you steal from Geo again? Geo had 3 buffs and Bivald had 3 buffs. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you also, forget to use your A2 on Bivald. So again, we got Mischief eaten. I'm going to put slow out because I want to slow the decapitated head, but I also want to slow the Mischief because he's just devoured my dude and I've only got 2 turns. Luckily, we've got Geo's burn. Probably more good luck than good planning. There are times when you plan it, and I may have planned it that way when I was actually doing the run. I wasn't tracking it as we were talking through it. Yeah, but that, we've only got 1 turn left here, so I start ignoring the decapitated head and start hitting the Mischief head. It's going to redirect us, but again, I'm starting to pump out my AoEs, start to target that Mischief head, because we do not have long, and you can see we only just get it out. So then we can go back to the decapitated head. But freeing your champs once they're devoured, is more important than pumping damage into a decapitated head. Again, I don't really need speed out there, so I'm going to put the burn, I'm guessing, on here. No, no, you've got one over there. We get a resist, always annoying. Geo's got enough accuracy, it's just 3% happen. And this is how the run goes. So we're at 111 turns, which is good. 32 million is good. I always have my little info sheet that tells me exactly how much I need for a 1 key, 36.6. I always forget, so I've always got to check. So again, we've got that decreased speed on there. It just gives us longer hit in the head. We're relying on the Duchess for the Veils for us to deal with the Head of Torment. And again, this isn't a bad set of heads. It's okay. The Head of Torment's annoying. It's just annoying when it falls off. So what I'm thinking right there, so I held Ugo's block buffs because I don't know who's coming out. It could be Blight with the Poison Cloud, which I really want to have block buffs on everyone, so it's like, do you know what? I can hold that skill for a turn, she'll come back around to her turn again, and then I can put it out on everyone once this decapitated head respawns. So now we're sort of back to where we were. Again, this is a fine set of heads, it's not a problem. Geo's about to get devoured, so I'm putting slow out there. Luckily, we've got a burn on the Mischief. Mischief eating your Geomancer is probably, this might be where we lose Geo. I think it must be, because I remember this run was a little bit short because we got a bad devour. Geomancer getting eaten, even though we've got the burn on, means we still don't get the reflect damage because Geo's been eaten. And I've only got Husk, and he's only got 1 AoE, and the Head of Mischief is redirecting all our attacks. And that's just the way it goes sometimes, and sometimes you're lucky. You can see I'm burning all my AoEs just to try and get any extra hits in that I can. But I don't think we get Geo out now. There we go. So that's our Geo gone. So that right there is pretty much the end of this run. It'll carry on going for a little while. But really, yeah, like 1 of 2 damage dealers down is this run's coming to an end. It doesn't matter because we're at 36. I mean, this team usually gets around 40, anything from a sort of 1 key to about 43, 45 million. But again, yeah, this one's all manual. Like I said, I usually will run we'll do the very first setup and then leave it to run, come back to it and see how it's doing. I feel, you can full auto. It depends on your champs, it depends on your builds, and it depends on your gear. Like, I always think that, I full auto all the other difficulties because my gear's good enough that I can. And the champs are fast and they go through it and the teams are fine. And sometimes I'll manual it and sometimes I'll switch champs out. This week, my clan were focusing on brutal, so I put 2 keys into brutal instead of hitting hard, just to get the damage down. And my hard team did, you can see here, we're losing people now and it's fine. We've already 1 keyed, so I'm like, it's fine. But my hard team, my sort of C team, I threw it into brutal to see how it did. I upped some stats on some people, and put it in there. And of course, I managed to get a 1 key, but that was after about 5 attempts. Yeah, so again, full auto, but I'll set it full auto, do the start, leave it running, and then go and do my normal day-to-day stuff. And then I'll check it, and most of the time, 20 million. Yeah, 20 million. It just, you hit a bad combination of heads, or your cooldowns aren't available at the right time, or whatever. Yeah, it's 20 million. Free regroup. And so, like you can see here, I'm focusing the head, but really I'm just running this on full auto now. I know it's the end of the run. It was the end of the run as soon as Geomancer died. I'm focusing heads when people get eaten, but really we're just eking out the last couple of million damage. We're not going to live long. As soon as that Geomancer went down, our people were going to start getting devoured. So. There we go. So that was my Nightmare Key this week. That starting combination of Decay and Blight is a pain. And on my free-to-play, I don't have any good provokers. My free-to-play does have a Husk now, just pulled one, does have a Royal Guard. So what I do there is I use the Royal Guard, I use his A3, targeting the head of Decay to try and get the decreased speed on Decay and not on Blight to set their speeds out of sync. And I free regroup until that happens. So it might take 5 free regroups before you actually get the decreased speed. But so 14 million from Husk, that's fine. 17 million from Geo, and a little bit of damage out of Bivald. I did have Bivald in like a damage build, but much slower. So actually, to get him going a lot faster, I switched him. I took the damage out of his build to get more speed into his build, which honestly has made a big difference, because he's a good champ for HYDRA, and I can't find him now. No, of course you can't find them when you want to find them. He's a good champ for HYDRA. But I had to drop his damage stats right down to get his speed up, because his provoke is, he's only got the provoke on a 3-turn, and on the A1 it's a decent chance, but it's not totally consistent. Okay guys, you asked for it. That was a full HYDRA run. I'm sorry this video is super long. I did try and fast forward through some bits, but there's always something going on in HYDRA. There's just so many moving parts that there's just always lots to think about, to talk about. Anyway, I hope that's helped with some of sort of what I'm thinking and what I'm doing when I'm doing a run, and I will catch you guys in the next one.